Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Riana Milne. Riana is a love and trauma recovery coach. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Riana Milne. Riana,
Hello,
welcome.
everyone. Hi, Siddique. How are you?
Thank you so much. Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Okay, so today I work globally, helping people heal from past childhood, love trauma, and wanting to have more success in life, love, and business. So that is what I do. And it really began when I was a teenager. I went through a lot of bullying as a kid. And I actually asked if I could go to counseling, and my mom said, no, no one in this household will ever go to counseling. So I defiantly said, then I'll grow up and become one. And that's how it started. And then I went through a childhood trauma of losing my best friend to a drunk driver. We were 16. And again, to handle my grief, I asked to get help and I was not allowed to go. So that's when I turned to reading the masters of mindset, Deepak Chopra, the Dalai Lama, Tony Robbins, um, Wayne Dyer, and many others, A Course of Miracles. So that was my healing. That's where I turned to some of the masters to learn about mindset and healing and reaching my goals and dreams, because I was asking at age 17, how much time do I have left? And what can I do to make my life purposeful? And then when I went off to Penn State, I lost my dear friend and college roommate. She was murdered by her boyfriend. So again, to give back to the life of Michael and Corinne, I became a coach that helped people through trauma, domestic violence, and loss and grief. So that was my purpose and motivation. I took my pain and made it my purpose and my passion. And then personally, I went through some love trauma myself by a couple of sociopaths. So I do educate people all over the world how to look for emotionally healthy, evolved, and conscious love, and how to avoid toxic, painful love that's just too prevalent today. So that's what I do.
So, based on your experience, what are the top three reasons why do people fail?
Well, the reason they struggle, I don't like to say anybody fails, but the reason they struggle is because the childhood trauma is unhealed. There are many traumas, but I named the top 10 traumas that I uncovered in 2012. I put together the childhood trauma checklist. That's an assessment tool used all over the world today. It's very simple and easy for my clients to decipher if they're struggling because they have unhealed trauma. So I named the top 10 and I go over that with my clients, and then I assess the severity level of those 10 traumas they might have experienced. I always say you can't change what you don't know or understand, because if you don't know what the problem is, how can you change it? So that's step one. You need to understand where your struggles are coming from, the root of the issues, and we need to heal them. The great news is childhood and love trauma can be healed. So that's the first thing. That's why people are struggling and stuck in this fear-based negative mindset. It comes from behavioral norms or messages we learned as children that stay in our mind. Like trauma 2, for example, is verbal messaging. Did you hear you'll grow up to amount to nothing? Or you're no good, or we don't care what you have to say, go to your room. So you are shut down. You might not have heard a lot of compliments. You might not have heard the words, I love you, or I'm proud of you. These all stay with a person into adulthood. So there's many tools that I use as a certified clinical trauma professional to help my clients heal over 4 to 6 months. Why else can they fail? Trauma number 9, family trauma, growing up with lack and lack messaging. So hearing like, how can you ask for these new sneakers? That's selfish of you. We don't have that money. We don't have the money for heat or food to put on the table. So there's a lot of guilt messages or messages that we don't have enough. So an entrepreneur, for example, may want to be in their business. They go so far, then they're afraid to invest in themselves. Or it's like, wow, that coach will be $10,000. What if it doesn't work for me? So that lack of confidence, those messages intertwined with lack messages can cause someone to really stall or sabotage their success in life, love, or business. And the third reason people fail is time management, really around conscious awareness, I would say. You should up each day with 3 goals for the day. What are the most important 3 things that you need to accomplish today? And then if you have time, what are the other 2? And at the end of the day, go through and compliment yourself on a job well done. Wow, I'm proud of myself that I did this today. And I'm really glad I did this. I did half of it. I'll finish the other half tomorrow. So this way, you're living a more purpose filled life. You have goals for the day, the week, the month, and 6 months, 1 to 3 year goals and 5 year goals. Now, with New Year's coming up, this is a perfect time. All my clients know they create 3 personal goals and 3 business goals for themselves for the new year. And they take this very seriously. They think about it for a week, they meditate on it, they write it out, then they declare it. They declare it on Facebook, they declare it LinkedIn to their friends, YouTube, everywhere. Why? Because declaring it helps you stay more accountable. You don't want to let yourself down, but you want to stay with your declared goals and your promises. So those are some suggestions on what will keep you successful and not failing.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
It's funny, Siddique, I don't look at anything as a failure. I look at it as feedback. And I've been studying mindset now for over 40 years, since my teens. So we don't look at failure. Life is about lessons. In Buddhism, they call it the Earth School. We are here to learn many lessons, and part of that is to be challenged, to help us grow and learn and succeed. And maybe try plan A. If that didn't work, then we'll try plan B and then plan C. So we don't look at anything as a failure. We look at it as a feedback. So when you ask me that question, I honestly can't think of a failure. I've had a pretty blessed life, but it hasn't been an easy one. I've gone through trauma, but I don't look at it as a failure. Even if it was love trauma, I did the best I could do to be a partner, a great partner. And because my partners might have failed in their moral decisions and I decided to move on, doesn't mean the relationship failed either. Right. So we don't look at failure at all, our group. We look at it as feedback and lessons learned, and we find the good out of the bad to propel us to keep going on to be the success story that we dream to be.
What are your top 3 success secrets that others can model from?
Well, from my research on childhood trauma and love trauma, which I've done over many years now, and working with various populations, I worked with women in the prison system, kids in schools from kindergarten all the way through college, mental health wards for kids aged 5 through 19, and also in drug and rehab centers for teens and other populations. So despite the age, whether they were male or female, straight or LGBTQ, didn't matter. Childhood trauma has no prejudice. So I help people from around the globe heal from this and create the life they desire and have the love that they deserve. So this is a research-based trademarked model that I use. They actually have a 150-page workbook that we work from, and it's a coaching model. It's a team model where everyone is working with me individually, and we look at the traumas that they might have come from, which is fine. And then we heal those, and then we create the life you desire. And then after that, we get you out to dating, or if you're a couple when you're coming to me, I have to look at partner A's story, partner B, help each one with their individual trauma. And then as a couple, what was showing up in the relationship that made it toxic or dysfunctional. We have to clean all that up and teach you a whole new method of communication. So this model has been working for me. I've been in business 22 years doing this work that I just love. We teach the positive mindset for success system. That's what I call it. It is about conscious awareness, making sure you're no longer living an unconscious life, which is so important. That means you think before you do, say, act, write, text. Is this good for me and everyone else or the other? It is a spiritual philosophy that's included with this program because you have to have faith in a higher power that you can change, that there is the greater good, and you want to live a purpose-filled life, one that you can look back on and be very proud of. So it's a series of models that I have put together: the mindset for success, healing the traumas from the past, and then this model of conscious awareness around goal setting and taking your life step by step, each day, each week, each month, to create your success. It's a very conscious awareness program that helps you to reach success.
What motivates you within?
Well, I'm a very spiritual person. I'm also Reverend Riana. So I've been an interfaith minister since 1993. What motivates me the most is giving back to the world, living the life that Corinne and Michael did not have a chance to live. I took that on spiritually when I was very young, so that motivates me. And the fact that I can really help and make a difference in someone's life who is hurting from a very narcissistic partner or an abusive relationship, or someone that has this negative fear-based thinking, this high anxiety, these bouts of depressions due to unhealed trauma. When I can change a life and I see somebody years later, couples years later, and they're still happily married and they're still best friends, and they say, everything you said works, Riana. This is what motivates me, that I can change a life one at a time over many years, and they go out and they help others. So it's the motivation is helping the way to change the way the world loves. So with every interview, with every client I teach, every podcast that I do on my show, Lessons in Life and Love, it's about educating, helping people to know that there is another way other than a painful, hurtful life, that you can be successful and reach your dreams and goals and have that life you desire. That's what motivates me.
What is your company's motto?
Create the life you desire and have the love you deserve. That one comes out a lot.
Who is your ideal client?
I work with everyone. Primarily, I get women that have been in abusive relationships, very successful in business, but struggle in love and can't figure out why. Actually, having a successful business life comes from the drive from childhood trauma, not wanting to live in poverty anymore, showing that you can measure up when you might have been put down or bullied. So there can be some good things that result from trauma, but then usually the love portion is not healed. However, my LGBTQ clients do extremely well with me. I have several gay and lesbian clients who are very happily married now. My men do extremely well. So I am really pleased and blessed to work with anyone that recognizes that childhood or love trauma may be holding them back. People that have been in a marriage for many years are afraid to go out dating in today's world. And there's a lot of rules that they need to learn to keep themselves safe. I call it there's a definite art and psychology to dating successfully. Our people have empowered confidence and knowledge to be able to be the chooser. We choose who we want to date. It's not like we wait around and wait to be chosen. So when you know the skills, you're out there just really enjoying yourself and having a great time, and your light and energy really attracts a lot of people to you, potential partners. And then you do the work that you've learned to find out if this is the right partner for you. So my ideal client, I guess, primarily is women, successful women and men, but I work with ages 16 to 76. And like I said, men, women, straight, and LGBTQ, singles, and couples.
How do you find your ideal client?
They find me. They hear me speak on a podcast like this, Siddique, or they hear me on a lot of relationship, love summits, motivational type summits, business summits, my podcast, Lessons in Life and Love, or I'm hearing they just Google search life coach and I come right up. So, if they hear the message and they recognize themselves, they know that I've, been an expert in this field for 22 years and certified as I am a licensed mental health counselor as well. So I have the psychology background and also as a clinical trauma specialist. So they choose someone that they know can really help them through their issues.
How do you deliver a five-star client experience?
I do a VIP experience. I work primarily one on one with people. Occasionally, I'll offer a group, but I really love the one on one. So I'm totally focused on them and their struggles and their concerns and their goals and their dreams. So that is how I do it. My clients, my VIP diamonds, are able to text me when they're concerned or something happened and they're being emotionally triggered. I have email access to me. And again, my research based system, the workbook, is 150 pages. Then I use my number one bestseller, Love Beyond Your Dreams, Break Free of Toxic Relationships to Have the Love You Deserve. And the one on mindset is Live Beyond Your Dreams, From Fear and Doubt to Personal Power, Purpose, and Success. Now, you can buy my two books on Amazon and other platforms. However, the notebook is for my clients only.
How do you convert your clients into your brand ambassadors?
They are so happy, Siddique, when they graduate. I describe it like going over a rainbow. And that's where I was when I started to do the study to heal myself. Because I went to 7 therapy friends and they could not help me heal from love trauma. They didn't know what my partner had, which I call the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. To society, he was outstanding. We had a beautiful love relationship, and then he sabotaged everything by having a secret life. So there was nothing defined like that in the DSM-4. You know, he wasn't bipolar, he wasn't borderline, it didn't exist. Childhood trauma, that term did not exist when I went to study. What was it? And when I did all this and put it together, the combination of the trauma clients I worked with in all the different settings and my love partner, that's when I discovered what was happening. So I have this down to such a science now that when my clients are over the rainbow, they start at the point of, I don't know what I don't know, so I don't know how to fix it. I don't know why I keep picking toxic partners. I don't know why I can't feel happy. I don't know why I keep having high anxiety. I can't feel happy. So that's where they're starting. And when we heal all that, they're going over the rainbow. There's a lot of practice to go from unconscious emotional triggers and norms to full conscious awareness. And when they get there, I call it the pot of gold. And they look back at their life and they're like, I can't believe how far I've come. Like, this is amazing. I'll never go back to that other person. And then they're out there spreading their light and joy, and they can easily recognize when someone else is suffering. And it's like, you know what? I want you to talk to my coach, Riana. She can help you. So they do it because their light and their happiness of their new life is something that they want to share with others.
How do you start your day?
Waking up and saying, what are my 3 things I must do today? And your interview was first for me today. So the 3 goals of the day, 2 others if I have time. Right after I'm dressed, I sit and I meditate for 15 minutes. I have an organic breakfast. I eat all organic foods. Then I answer the emails of any of my clients and go from there.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
I'm always going to be like a child. People say that they think I'm 10 years younger than I am. I'm in my 60s. And I always say age is a state of mind and energy. I'm actually grandmother to 6, and I get to see them over Christmas. So that joy, that inner light should never disappear. It does keep your years younger. It's amazing when I see someone in their early 40s and they look like they're in their 60s because they're so sad and depressed and just so overloaded in their minds with worry and anxiety. So when that is cleared up, your light just shines. I always say keep the childlike love, but be that adult who is responsible and choosing what is right for yourself and others in the world. And that combination goes a long way.
What is the plan to achieve your goal?
Well, my New Year's Eve goals, I was just starting to think about those. I want to do more appearances on YouTube, which they call YouTube Shorts. I'm really not a ham. I like talking educationally. So to have to go on every day, I'm not one of those kind that want to blow up my channel. I'm more humble than that. So that's kind of a push for me. But that is my goal. And I'm working on a book on trauma. I'd like to finish that this year. And just keep, working with those around the world, keep getting the message out that I'm here to help. I really love what I do. So my goals come to me in meditation very often, and I just flow with it. So I will create my 3 personal goals and 3 business goals. As New Year's Eve will come, I will be ready.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
Well, again, our clients do what we call living in the light. Okay, I use the symbol of yin yang from Buddhism. The white symbol, there's a little black circle, and this symbol is interpreted many different ways, but we interpret it living in the light or living in the dark side. So many people come in, they're living in the dark side. This is where fear-based negative thoughts are, anxiety, depression, fear to move forward in life, hate, anger, revenge, anything that's dark that makes you feel bad is living in the dark side. That's where most people are. The studies show 8 out of 10 people have 8 out of 10 negative thoughts. We keep striving to live in the light. So when a challenge comes to us, of which we do totally expect, challenges are supposed to come. We come up with our plan A and then our plan B to fix it. And if that doesn't work, we go to plan C. We don't freak out. Living in the light is proactive. We think, what can I do? Living in the dark is reactive. That's where the victim mentality is. I can't do it. I haven't been able to do it, so I'll never be able to do it. That way of thinking, we say, is in the left or the dark side, and we close the door on that. Once we process the trauma, we don't go back there anymore. We live in the now, we become consciously aware and create the future. So the challenges come up are feedback. Again, there's no failure. And we take that feedback and we learn when to move on quickly. For example, I started out last year going on Alexa. Well, nothing came from it. It's like, okay, I tried it for 6 months. Next, the feedback is the world isn't ready on Alexa for me yet. So it's like, no, I'm not going to do all that work when there's no return, right? So we just move on. So, we're going to try a lot of different things in business. Us entrepreneurs are aware that not everything's going to work, but we don't call it a failure. We call it feedback. And as we go on in business, we find out what does work, that we're most aligned with, that will help promote our business and that we feel great about it. And I love to educate. I have been teaching since my 20s, going into corporations. I had a model and talent school and agency for 10 years. So I had a school where I was a director and a key educator. So teaching is comfortable for me and I really love it and enjoy it. So that is my style. If I'm teaching, I'm happy. So the challenges will come. We just say, what can we do with that? Like when we had lockdowns for COVID, everyone on the left side's freaking out. Oh my God, I can't do this. I can't do that. We're all like, oh, wow, we have 30 days to work on a new project. What can I do in these next 30 days? So we really look at things a lot differently.
What is the advice you'll give to a younger yourself?
I'd say, great job, kiddo. I mean, you go through challenges. I had my first marriage is someone I met at college. And unfortunately, he ended up taking a large sum of money from my mother, 200,000. And when you're 24 years old with 2 little girls, that's like $500,000. Okay. That's a lot of money. And it was never paid back. And I felt horribly about it. So I took on that debt myself and received nothing for it. So it took me 16 years of my life working mostly 5 jobs at a time and supporting my daughters and paying him child support. So, I mean, let's talk about how many daggers can I take at one time. Those are challenges. So I was very strong and did not have the time to get into victim mentality. I had to stay very strong to work my model and talent school. I mean, I had a bankruptcy at 26. So I opened up with my first month's rent and the faith that this will work. And everyone's laughing. It's like, that's not going to work in Erie, PA. And it's like, watch me. And that's the mindset I have had. That was the mindset I taught my talent when they wanted to go to big cities like New York and LA, and people in the area are laughing at them. And they're like, watch me. You'll see. My daughter ends up singing on 3 multi-platinum CD and hosting TV shows and is a millionaire coach today. Mindset is everything. So thank God I learned the mindset very young and I was using it throughout my whole career. And despite those challenges that came at me, I just dealt with them. What can I do? Well, I can work 5 jobs till my mother is paid back because that's integrity, doing the right things. right? So I took on that burden, but I still lived the life I wanted. I still created jobs that I loved and loved working with the models, actors, singers, dancers. I modeled for 33 years. So that was part of something I enjoyed doing. And then I helped people invest in their dreams and believe in themselves. So mindset work I was teaching since my 20s.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Helping to change the way the world loves, helping people to love themselves more, to understand that you're never stuck in fear and negativity. And no matter what life throws at you, with a strong mindset and self love, you can get beyond anything. Take your pain, make it your purpose and your passion. And also that I'm a great mom, great partner, and great grandma.
How can we support you?
Well, you're already doing it, Siddique. You're helping me get the message out to people to have hope, self love, especially for this new year. Make it count, guys. Come up with those three personal goals, those three business goals. Decide if you've been suffering or unhappy, or if you've been stuck in a very toxic relationship, which we call relationship repetition syndrome, that toxic partners over and over again, that you're going to fix this once and for all. You're going to get over the trauma response system, heal yourself, have more self love, confidence, empowerment, then learn to date properly. We were never taught how to get a great, emotionally healthy, conscious, and evolved partner. Nobody taught us those skills. They said, wow, if there's chemistry, go for that one. And chemistry is one of the most dangerous ways to fall in love. Why? Because your psyche, your mindset likes what it knows. It stays with what patterns are familiar. And very often those patterns from the childhood home are not really emotionally healthy. So we want to help you to, overcome anything you're struggling with and really make this year count.
We are about to wrap up. I like to have a few words about your today's guest experience on the show. Here's my question. What would you say about your today's guest experience on the show?
Well, you got to ask great questions, Siddique. You asked me if I saw the questions ahead of time. And it's like, no, just throw them at me. I'll answer them for you. It's a great show. I think it's really wonderful that you're bringing guests around the world to help educate and inspire others to be their best selves, not only in business, but in life and love as well. So I thank you for having me on.
What would you say as the final word?
Well, I do have free gifts for everyone. Go to my website. It's rianamilne.com. And on there is a free ebook, How to Have the Love You Deserve. Take the 4 free love tests. See if you're struggling. There's a red flags list for couples, for singles. Are you really ready to date test? The childhood trauma checklist is there. Also, free book chapter downloads of Live and Love Beyond Your Dreams is in the book section. And then my podcast, Lessons in Life and Love, I have 110 shows. Catch up on that over the weekend. Like it, subscribe, and share with your friends if you think it would be helpful. And
Thank
again,
you.
go on this year to create the life you desire and to have the love you deserve. Make this year count.
Thank you, Rihanna, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta. Until the next episode, all good wishes.
Thank you.